Now coming into the game
Oh, okay, do that.
from Markham, Ontario, number 68, Jordan Romano.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the 450 Dead Center channel. Chris here with Daniel.
Hello, guys.
Hey, what's up? And we are talking about the Blue Jays 2023 pitching rotation. That includes the 5 starters, or maybe 6 starters. We're doing a 6-man rotation, including the bullpen and obviously the closer who's in the bullpen. So, anything to say?
Nice explanation.
Thank you. In case you didn't know what it is.
Yeah. First, I think I'm going to say is thank you for the support. And keep hitting that like button, subscribe button on the road to 1,000. Keep it short and simple for that. And also, Chris, we'll start off with this question for you. Do you think the Jays should do a 6-man rotation? Your opinion.
My opinion is no, because I want to see Manoah, Gausman, Barrios, and now Bassett pitch as much as they can.
Yeah.
So for me, I'll stick with the 5-man, but just say we have the extra depth, like maybe like a Ricky Tiedemann comes up, maybe you'll throw him as a swingman every maybe a week or something, or a week or two or something like that. Maybe then we can maybe think of going 6-man, like maybe in September when people need rest, we'll go 6-man. But I think to start the year, I think it's going to be a 5-man rotation.
I agree. I think if the Jays do go for a 6-man rotation, it'll be one of two things. You alluded to it being in September towards the end of the year when the Jays are obviously clinching AL East. And
obviously, 100+ wins.
Right, they've obviously clinched and they're
definitely
winding down for the postseason, saving some guys rest. It'll either be that or it'll be on a long road trip / homestand. We've seen that a couple times where
like a West Coast
Jays have played. Yeah, where they've played like 17 games in like 15 days or something ridiculous like that.
And didn't we play 21 in like 21 days last year? I think
exactly. We did something crazy like that. So like that though, in those circumstances, I can see a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
But
so let's start with the rotation.
I think we're both under the impression they're starting the season off with a 5-man.
Yes.
Let's start off with the obvious ace of the rotation.
Kikuchi.
Pardon?
Kikuchi.
Obviously Kikuchi.
Obviously.
Obviously, I think the ace is. In my opinion, I think it's still Gausman. I think Gausman's the ace of this rotation right now.
Bull, that is not my first ace of the rotation. My ace is Manoah.
I knew you were gonna say Manoah. They're 1-2 for me. They're 1-2 for me. I think next year Manoah takes the reins. I still think Gausman's got the experience. He literally had a fantastic season last year. Just Manoah was unbelievable. As well, I think they're starting on the road. So I think if you line whoever starts on the road for the first game, when they get to the first home game, it'll be the second guy in the rotation, if I did the math correctly.
So you want Manoah starting?
Manoah starting homestand. Exactly.
That's fair. I just think they'll put Manoah as the opening day starter, as he finished, 3rd, I believe, in Cy Young voting last year. I just think of that pedigree of 3rd in Cy Young voting. He's going to be the opening day starter. Not that it really means much when you have Gausman, Barrios, and Bassett on your rotation as well. But for me, I have Manoah as the number 1 and Gausman as the number 2.
I'm not gonna lie. Even if they did flip it, I would be perfectly fine with that. I think Manoah is so underrated. I think he's so underrated.
You can't go wrong with
Gausman. I still think is underrated, even though he's having a great season. I don't think people realize how good Gausman actually is. I didn't realize it until we started seeing him in the Jays.
Exactly. And then one thing about him last year is that his WAR was like the highest out of like all pitching position or pitching players or pitchers. I think all season, unless he got passed by the end of the year. But I know in like April, guy had like a 3 WAR, it's just unbelievable. And that pace would put him on like a 15 WAR pace for the season. Obviously, he didn't get to that, but it was fantastic.
As well, don't forget what he did in the playoffs. Yeah, they lost, whatever, but he was dealing through 6 innings.
Yep, and he should not have been pulled.
He should not have been pulled, whatever. That's a whole nother story. But for what we saw, Gausman was electric for 6 innings. Manoah was good too, but Gausman was electric. And I don't know, for me as an ace, my ace is the guy that I can rely on. Game in every 5 days to throw 6+ innings, keep them at 1 or 2 runs, or none if he's feeling great, and give my team a chance to win. And that's what I think Gausman is. Manoah, I think the next coming of it. So
so I think we can both agree that the 1-2 is Manoah, Gausman, Gausman, Manoah. So let's move on to number 3. And I have Barrios as my 3rd starter.
I'm right there with you. I think Barrios. I think he is one guy who is due for a bounce back season. I think last year how bad he was, is not truly what Barrios is. Because if you look at his stats previous seasons, he's been consistent.
Mm-hmm. So good. He's been phenomenal. I mean, in 2023, Manoah apparently is projected a 4 ERA, which I think is absolutely ludicrous. And then Barrios is projected a 4.14, which, I mean, I guess based off last year, that's fair. But Manoah with a 4.03, that makes no sense. But Barrios is a 3 starter. He could be an ace on pretty much any team he really wants, maybe besides.
I was gonna say, if you take Barrios's last, let's say 20, because he made his debut in 2016, as I'm looking at baseball reference here.
Yeah.
If you take 2016 to 2019, don't count 2020 because 2020 is kind of a write-off year.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at his 2021 seasons. The guy is hovering right around like a 3 ERA, 3.5, 3.6 ERA, somewhere around there.
Yep.
He's going to throw you like 100+ innings every time, right?
Exactly. Unless he gets hurt, which he hasn't. So
yeah, the average here it's saying is 100 and 130 innings.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So he's going to be.
And he's been a 2-time All-Star. Let's not forget about that. He was back-to-back All-Star in 2018 and 19.
Yeah, don't forget he's only almost. He's going to be 29 when the season starts, so he's just in his prime right now. Let's move on to the number 4 starter.
Exactly.
I think really no surprise here. I'm pretty sure we both have Chris Bassett.
Yeah, that guy is a workhorse, and again, very underrated. Plus, a lot of ground balls.
A lot of ground balls. I like that, and you know we get those ground balls with Matt Chapman at third. Ooh, it's gonna be nice. And then
don't forget about Gold Glove Vladdy at first.
Oh, Gold Glove. You're right. You know Matt Chapman was robbed from a Gold Glove, but Vladdy got the Gold Glove this year.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the number 5 starter.
Bassett's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I just want to mention one more thing about him.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bassett's another guy who's going to eat innings. Same thing as Barrios. He's going to average almost 150 innings each time, which, as the Jays, we need guys to eat innings. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like if you're looking at our top 4 in terms of like 2023 projections from Fangraphs, like Manoah's expected to get over 200, Gausman 180, Barrios around 180, and then Bassett literally 180. So top 4 guys throwing 180 innings, maybe plus minus like I don't know 20. Like that's pretty solid.
It takes the stress off the bullpen, which we've seen the Jays in the past. That's where the Jays get into trouble.
Yeah,
and especially with this last guy, Chris, to start the season.
Speaking of trouble.
Yeah. Currently at the start of the season, it looks like it'll be Yusei Kikuchi as the 5th.
Yusei Kikuchi, yes. But there's a lot of buts for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you take it away. Go ahead.
So I expect Kikuchi to be the 5th starter in the lineup, but if remember what happened with Tanner Roark in like 2020 after like 2 games when he sucked, they just got rid of him. I feel like that could happen if Kikuchi just doesn't perform at the start of the year, and then at that point we do have guys who can like be swingmen for like a month or 2 until maybe Ricky Tiedemann's ready to get called up, or maybe until June when Ryu comes back from Tommy John surgery. There's a lot of guys we can throw in there like Mitch White, like I said, Tiedemann, Ryu if he comes back, and even some other guys that we have in the AAA system who probably won't be very good, but I mean can't really get much worse than Kikuchi. But he is expected to have a 3.86 ERA next year, which I'll take that.
I mean, like he did have a bad year. Let's not shake that. He had a terrible year.
So bad, so bad.
And I'm excited to see what he's gonna do because this is a real test of character for him. He's coming on. He was an All-Star the year before. Comes back this year. Has a crappy year. The worst, I wouldn't even put him in Double-A. He was that bad.
So bad. So bad.
The only reason that kept him on the roster was because of that contract.
Exactly.
That's what kept him on the MLB roster. No one wants to eat that contract. So, I mean, Kikuchi, it's put up or shut up time, right? If this guy's going to come out and be the guy that we paid, he doesn't even have to be the full guy. Be 75% of it. That's all.
Just have like a mid-4 ERA, honestly, dude.
All he's got to do is go 5 innings.
Please.
If he can go 5 innings of 1 or 2 run baseball.
That would be fantastic.
You will put the Jays in a very good place to win, especially if all the other guys are eating 180 innings.
Yeah, and also I forgot one more honorable mention. Nate Pearson, if he's actually healthy, he could also slide into that 5th spot. Or, great transition here, he can slide into the low relief sort of swingman spot where right now we have Mitch White. So
I think you're right there with it. I think I've always been under the impression I think Nate Pearson's a reliever. I really do.
I think he has to be at this point.
The injuries, poor guy, man. The injuries have just riddled the kid with his opportunity, which I'm so upset about because he had so much promise.
Yeah.
But I think, and you put him in the pen. We saw what he did that one playoff. I think it was 2020.
Yes, it was against Tampa. I think
Tampa,
it was game
right?
2. He threw like 2 fantastic innings. It was amazing.
Was it 2020 or 2021?
I think it was 2020 because we missed 2021. Yeah.
So 2020, and we let him throw 2 innings, and the guy came out and threw 100 miles per hour. I think he threw like 75% of his pitches 100 miles per hour.
And he was painting the corners too. It was glorious.
He reminds me, and I've said this to you before, and I think I've said it to you. I've definitely said it to my brother. He reminds me of, that 2015 Aaron Sanchez?
Yes.
That's what he reminds me of.
Pretty sure you said it to your brother, but I see what you're talking about. Yeah.
He reminds me of that. Aaron Sanchez 2015 was so dominant. They move him to the rotation. He struggles a little bit.
Well, I mean, he did lead the league in 2016 with the lowest ERA. I'm just saying. Yeah. Just saying.
You're ruining my point here.
But, my bad. But then he sucked after that. So.
Yeah, like I said, I think Nate Pearson's longevity, you got to put him in the pen. This could be something similar, like a Zach Britton situation or Andrew Miller situation, where they were terrible as starters just because they couldn't stay healthy.
Yep.
Both of those guys were terrible. You move into the pen and they're lights out. So
exactly.
I think Nate Pearson's an honorable mention. If he can stay healthy, he'll definitely make the roster.
Yeah. So would you put him as like a mid reliever, low relief setup man? Like I'd say probably start off as mid reliever.
I think he'd be a mid/swing. I think I would try to bring him in if I was John Schneider. I wouldn't bring him in with runners on base. So not yet.
Low leverage to start.
Low leverage guy. He'd be the perfect guy to piggyback Kukuchki with.
Oh, for sure. That'd be awesome.
Kukuchki can go 5 innings. He's a lefty. He throws kind of hard. Throws a lot of junk. You bring a right-handed pitcher in who's gonna throw gas. I think that's a nice combo. You can let Pearson go about 3 innings, then you got your 8-9 guys, right?
Exactly.
But let's see. Hopefully, Nate Pearson has a good spring training.
Yeah, so then do you want to talk about the middle relief guys who just come in like sort of maybe the 6th, 7th inning, not really the 8th, maybe the 8th sometimes, but like on Fangraphs right now they have Anthony Bass, Tim Meza, Adam Simber, and Trevor Richards. We all know a lot about them. Yeah. They've been on our team for a while now, especially like Tim Meza's been here forever. So I think they're all solid guys, and I think we picked up a few guys in free agency or just international signings.
There's some other guys on there who aren't on it yet that are very honorable mentions.
Yeah.
One guy is Zach Pop.
Yes, Zach Pop.
If Zach Pop can have a decent thing, he'll definitely make it, especially with his low ground ball rate. Another guy is, I think his name's Julio or Julian Fernandez.
Yes. Doesn't he throw like
I can't remember. He throws gas. The problem with him is his walks.
Yes,
so
that's true.
Same thing. If he can get them under control, he'll make it. But I mean, all those guys you listed there, Richard, Simber, Meza, Bass, they're all staples in this pen. I don't think any of them move. I think even sometimes if, God forbid, some injury happens, some of those guys can even slot into the setup man. I think Simber's definitely a guy who can slot into setup man.
Well.
I think
Bass as well.
Bass. I think Trevor Richards is your high leverage guy.
Yeah, and then they have the 2 high leverage guys in the rotation in the bullpen right now is Jimmy Garcia and Eric Swanson, who I absolutely like. I like both of them. Swanson, righty. I believe he throws gas. I don't really know too much about him, but he's solid. And then Jimmy Garcia is just a staple out of that bullpen at this point.
Yeah, Jimmy Garcia is they need to find another Jimmy Garcia, in my opinion, because that guy's been around the league. He's gone to championship teams. He's been in big games, and he knows how to pitch.
Exactly.
And he throws hard. Let's not forget, the guy can throw hard still.
I know. At the age of 30, going to be 33 probably when the season starts. So he's not even that old. I thought he was like 38.
He's been in the league a long time, so that's why it feels.
Exactly.
They need to find another Jimmy Garcia. Eric Swanson, I'm a little skeptical on, just because the Mariners didn't use him in any playoff game except the one game that went in extra innings.
Yeah, so I don't know if there was an injury there, but
I don't know. Yeah, it could be an injury. It could be even something psychological. I don't know if maybe just what was going on elsewhere.
But then
I don't know what his personal life is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It could also just be maybe the Mariners didn't like him as like a pitcher, and the Jays really, really like him. That could also be another thing.
You never know. I mean, the Mariners did shut us down, so I'll take one of their pitchers.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let's move on to the closer there, Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's move on to the closer. I think it's pretty obvious. Can I give him a little introduction?
Go ahead.
Can I do like a Bruce Buffer boxing introduction?
Go ahead. I don't even know what that is, but sure.
You don't know? It's the guy where he's like, now coming into the game.
Oh, okay. Do that.
From Markham, Ontario, number 68, Jordan Romano.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious he's going to be the closer.
Obviously.
Yeah, pretty obvious he's going to be the closer. Like, who else is it going to be?
By the way, Rogers Center hired me for that introduction. I think that was perfect.
That was fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, Romano's, I think he's obvious closer right now. I mean,
That's about
yeah,
it.
he had a good season. Just hopefully he can do it again. I know some people are worried that his control was a little bit last year.
That's
But
okay. But he still like pretty much was like second in the league in saves, had a great ERA,
yeah,
was really good. He blew like
let's just
what,
hope.
3 games? It's whatever.
Yeah, 3 games. Let's just hope he does it again. I mean, we'll wrap this up in 1 second. Just want to pose one more question to you, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the guys that we named,
Yep.
not including the honorable mentions, who do you think is going to have the best season?
Ooh, that's tough. That is tough. I gotta go with Alek Manoah again. I think he's gonna be fantastic. Probably, maybe win the Cy Young this year. That could be a bold pick. I might pick Manoah. He just got that dog in him, you know.
Give me one pen guy too. Give me one starter,
One
pen.
pen guy. I'm gonna go. You know what? Anthony Bass will have another solid season.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I'm gonna go a little. I don't want to be boring, so I'm not gonna choose. Obviously, I think Manoah's gonna win the Cy Young.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pick him. I think Barrios has an incredible year. I really do. I think Barrios bounces back and becomes an all-star. That's my prediction.
I like that.
For Barrios, and I think out of the pen, I think Tim Mayza is gonna have a great year. I think it's about time Tim Mayza takes the reins as the longest tenured Jay. I'm pretty sure if I'm saying.
I think so.
Right?
I mean, hey, Drew Hutchison's back now, Daniel. So maybe
Drew Hutchinson.
Yeah.
That's another honorable mention, but yeah, I think Tim Mayza takes the reins and he just becomes a shutdown force for the Jays.
Well, it would be fantastic if he could. So,
It'd be a nice little storybook for, I think.
It really would be. Anywho, let's wrap this video up. If you guys did enjoy and you want to see more baseball content and Blue Jays content from us, hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, and with that being said, see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.